Can you believe it's been since 2009 since the last S2000 from Honda rolled off the assembly line? And outside of the NSX, to this day, it still remains the only rear-wheel drive, at least here in America, the only rear-wheel drive Honda ever produced. But going over to Japanese scoop site Spider 7, they're coming on some new details about the fully battery electric. Let me know down below if you're excited about that, or if you're just excited for any new rear-wheel drive Honda. I mean, I'll smash a like button for that. But here we go. Over at Spider 7, this rear-wheel drive should appear in 2026. Now, that coincides with their new generation, their battery electric platform generations. Their first generation of battery electric vehicles for Honda, at least here in the United States, not China, they are being developed with the Ultium/GM/Gundam platform. And in 2026, this could actually be produced here in the United States on this new platform. We know Honda is building in Ohio a joint venture battery plant that should be up and running late 2025, early 2026 with LG Chem, which of course also works with General Motors. But Spider 7 says they have information now that development is well underway on the successor of the S2000. Look, about a year ago, Honda teased two vehicles under drapes when they were talking about battery electric future. And they teased this vehicle, which I thought was going to be the S2000 in battery electric form. And they also teased an NSX hypercar sort of battery electric vehicle as well. Now, it was announced that Honda plans on selling 30 electric models to be introduced by 2030, and two of them are those sports cars that are going to be happening in the later half of the decade. Okay, so here are the official details, or not official, but here are the rumored details that Spider 7 says they can confirm. But take all this with a grain of salt because we're still a long ways off and things can change. So they're saying it is rear-wheel drive only. So if you're hoping for an all-wheel drive S2000, doesn't look like it's coming. And they're confirming that it will use Honda's upcoming E-architecture next-gen electric vehicle architecture. However, they will be using the Ultium batteries, which coincides well, like I said, with that plant that they're opening in 2025 with LG Chem. And if you're hoping for a rear-wheel drive model that has two motors that work independently, kind of like on the front end of the NSX hybrid that has independent motors, well, it looks like it's just getting a single motor. Again, take it with a grain of salt, but the maximum output they're saying is around 300 horsepower. Now, if I remember right, the S2000 was probably somewhere around 250 horsepower from the 2-liter. 300 horsepower. Is that going to be enough? Now, we know battery electric vehicles are heavy. I don't expect this to be equipped with solid-state batteries, and if it was, man, we could have a pretty darn light and fast rear-wheel drive Honda. But if they're somehow to work the magic, I know battery technology and packing technology continues to get better. So by 2026, 2027, when this vehicle is likely to come out, we could have much lighter batteries giving about the same miles of range. So let's say all it really needs is about 250 miles of range, I would say, as long as it can charge fast enough. Any more than that is going to make the vehicle too heavy, in my opinion. So probably all we need is a 50 to 60 kilowatt hour battery to keep the weight down, and then a single motor also keeps the weight down, and 300 horsepower with that sort of setup should be able to get the car to 0 to 60 in the mid to upper fours would be my guess. Well, they have dimensions. It's about 120 millimeters longer than the original S2000. It's not quite as wide as the original S2000. And it's a smidgen taller. So the dimensions are actually really, really similar, just slightly larger overall. This is their expected image. They're saying that it's supposed to take some design cues from the S660, which we never got that here in the United States. It has to be imported after 20 years. So that's cool. Hopefully it looks like, if it looked like this, maybe tone down the front end just a little bit, it would look amazing. I'll put up the image of the Honda. This concept they come out with a few years ago is, it looks fairly similar to what we have up here, but this looks more abrupt at the front end to drop off. But it does have some of those curvy fenders up front like this concept does, but the roof line seems to be much lower here. But again, this is just placeholder. I have no idea what this vehicle is actually going to look like. And they're saying it is taking some styling cues from Honda's ENS1 over in China. But if we're to look up that vehicle, that's essentially the Vezel in other markets, or at least really, really close to it, except it's fully battery electric. So take everything with a grain of salt. It's hard. We're still so far out. It's hard to predict what this vehicle will be. Honda has shown this, so it will come to market. I can't see them scrapping this when they showed this vehicle And I guess I'll pull up the image alongside of the NSX, right? So these vehicles will come in the second half of the 2020s, probably built here in America, rear wheel drive only, somewhere around 300 horsepower. So if the cost is right, let's say they're able to build this car for around $30,000, I think it would be very, very popular. But if it's much more than that, with a low range to keep the weight light, and just 300 horsepower, it's going to be a tough sell. So anyways, I'll see you guys down below. Thank you for watching. I can't wait to see your thoughts, ideas, and imaginations of the next S2000, even though it's battery electric. I'll see you guys down below. Thank you for watching. Take care of yourselves and the ones around you, in peace.